my name is Rush Badger, and I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why I would be using the assault rifle with a terrible reload time, garbage recoil, extremely bad accuracy, and a small magazine size. But it's very fun to use. The FAMAS is extremely fun to use. Now this first guy, okay, so I get a little piece of him, and then he thinks that he can poke his head back out again, and then you hit him with a freeze pop, and it's that simple. That's all you have to stock your fridge first. From what I hear, you have to stock your fridge first, but you hit him with a freeze pop. And there's another recon. The cloth monster over here. Okay, that's the one thing. If you think, and okay, look at the name too. Hashtag YOLO swag. I have seen such an uprising of so many of those names. I think it started with one guy. I think it was one guy on Xbox Live made his name YOLO swag fo Jesus, and now it's terrible. It is awful. It turns into all of these hashtag names. Like, it's not just, obviously the actual character of the hashtag is not allowed in a lot of first-person shooters and a lot of online networks, PSN, Xbox, so they actually type out the word hashtag. So it'll be like hashtag swag, hashtag YOLO swag fo Jesus, hashtag swag McSwaggerson, that sort of thing. I've seen so many of those lately. It's pretty terrible. So, at this point in time, I basically saw that the right-hand side was not very populated, so I said, okay, knowing DICE's logic in terms of how maps go, you either go one way or you go the other. And since the one way was blocked, and there's basically nobody there, I know there's nobody in the right-hand side right now, logically, the only other way that you would go is the left side. And this was just free kills all day. Seriously, with the FAMAS from this range, it's left click to... Look at that! Like, you catfish, dude. Why would you even remotely have the idea of reviving him? Despite the fact that I got naded out of there, which is definitely a good idea because they weren't going to kill me with conventional bullets. Not in that spot, not when I'm clipping. But, okay, I spawn in here, and first bright idea... Alright, so I get one, Wesley, and the second, sit your $5 ass down before I make chain snipes. But, like, look. There's two. I think it goes to 3, 4. I think there's a fifth, but don't do it, young blood. Don't do it. Oh, young blood. Young blood. This is, you reach, I teach. That's exactly the way it works. Like, just the thought that somebody would have, like, look at this again. Just the thought that these, like, okay, let me explain it to you this way. I'm a real baller. I get buckets. Alright, I get buckets. And these young bloods out here thinking they can take the corner every single time with this many guys in here. Why? I just don't get it. I don't get why. We have 5 teammates, including myself, right here. Like, we got 6 guys right here. You think you're gonna take the corner without dying? Just don't do it, young blood, every time. You think you're gonna get the revive off, but you're not. Don't even try it. Don't even... Like, look, this is just left click to victory, man, especially with my rate of fire. But as you can see here, I don't think I should name the title of this video anything other than FAMAS reloading tutorial or how to get rid of all your bullets in the quickest way possible, because that's essentially what happens. But look at the bro boxes everywhere. That just makes my day. And yes, it's a good idea to sort of... I don't know if I can really bust out tactics on you in terms of... It's almost like 64-player games on these city maps. Do I even really need to talk about tactics? It's like, find a hallway, shoot bullets, kill people. That's the end. You can't expand upon that. There's no more doctrine or anything that you could write about that. It's just, I shoot bullets in a hallway and they die. Yeah, that's about the extent of it. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, well, you see, the advanced tactic here is that you want to crouch around this corner. No, just shoot bullets from a hallway. And sometimes, sure, there's a little bit more of a, yet again, like there's a little bit more of a difficulty in terms of stopping the tank on the road or on this right-hand flank. There's a lot more flanking routes and there's a lot more of an open area. I guess there's a little bit more to speak about there, but the left side is just find a clipping spot and kill people. Okay. So they eventually overran us here because the tank obviously has us pinned down. So I end up, come on, man. Just, I don't know why they ever expose themselves to this hallway. I get a one guy, I get a second guy with a pistol, but no, I can't reload. Now, like in that situation, just think about it with me logically. Okay, you're out of bullets for your FAMAS, and Don't do it, young blood. Don't do it, young blood. I told him not to take the corner. That Taco of Doom guy again. He just didn't realize that I'm a real baller. Alright, I'm a real baller. I get buckets. Oh god. But you can easily see in that little, where I was hiding in that little corner situation, obviously once you're out of your FAMAS, don't try to reload it if there's guys around. Just switch to your secondary and try to reload that, because you're not going to reload your FAMAS in time before you die. And there's this classic example there. If you don't use a laser sight on the FAMAS and you get suppressed, your bullets go everywhere. Your magazine is depleted before you can say, oh god, where are my bullets and why is my face bleeding? That's exactly what happens with a FAMAS in terms of it just doesn't. I want to say, like, yeah, sure, okay, that guy. Sid Gamer, I get him a few times from this range, but I have to say, on a consistent basis, if you've got people shooting back at a similar distance from at least 20 to 30 yards, you're going to get absolutely dunked on. Seriously. He's just going to take your chicken McNuggies and just right into the sweet and sour sauce every single time. That's what. You think that it's going to be different, and yeah, sure, if these guys are pinned down by, obviously in this situation, you've got all guys on the right-hand side of the road, left-hand side of the road, in the rubble, on the towers, everything else. So obviously the guys are pinned down. It's not like every single guy is looking at you like a 32-player game, but in a 64-player game, it's so chaotic, you can't always count on people looking at you, so you can get away with a lot of this. But if it's a smaller game, and they probably know where you're hiding, don't try to take somebody one-on-one from distance, especially with a FAMAS, especially with a suppressor on it. It's, like I said, it's literally recoil terrible, reload time terrible, accuracy terrible, magazine size even worse, but at the same time, I like it because of the raw killing power. Granted, if I were to say, oh, what assault rifle's better, I can easily say the AEK is better. Sure, it's 100 rounds per minute less in terms of killing time, bro. But at the same time, it's like for all-around adaptability, sure the AEK is not best at range, but the comparison to the FAMAS is just so heavily in favor of the AEK, it's not even funny. I don't really like using it because, you know, I've used it for so long, I have like thousands upon thousands of kills with it. Not that I'm trying to sound braggy at all, but you know the feeling where it's like, I shouldn't be doing this well right now. The AEK is just, is this like an easy button? This seems easier than the M16. Why am I killing this many people with this minimal effort? I don't get it. So I enjoy using something a little bit different, and I decided with the FAMAS. Also, too, I wanted to explain this. I'm using the suppressor because I just love the flanks. On 64-player Rush, flanking, especially on these city maps like a Metro, a Grand Bazaar, Zen Crossing is not as good for it because oftentimes the lav picks you up when you... Every single time, man. Every single time. I come around the corner, I'm about to kill so many dudes right... Oh. The lav just spawned. Well, great time to notice that, Mr. Badger. Awesome. Awesome, bro. And look, okay, this is the key to a well-executed flank if you ask me. You have to remain silent, or you have to make sure that nobody sees you as you're killing the people around them. Okay, so I got this guy. Obviously, nobody noticed yet because I've got my suppressor on both my primary and my secondary. Okay, so I get one. Don't do it, young blood. Okay, there's the second. I sort of sprayed around. The spread's not all that good, so you don't want to spray around. Get the second guy. There's the third guy, fourth guy, fifth guy, and sixth guy. Seventh guy's just going to run away. Carl, you can run free if you would like. Just run like the wind, Carl. Please excuse yourself. And I know I think my whole rationale in terms of flanking might not make any sense. Like, it's like if I were to say a sentence like, has anyone really been far as even as decided to use do want look more like? It doesn't make any sense to you. So I guess some of the things that I say, like, okay, just to clarify, that sentence does not make any kind of grammatical sense in the English language. That's what I feel like a lot of you think about sort of my tactics, because you guys know I'm not the best at explaining myself a lot of the time. Sometimes just... it makes sense in my own brain. I try to explain it to somebody else, and they're just like, what the Badger? That makes, like, what? No. That logical? No, that's not at all. That's some kind of witchcraft. That's not right at all. Like, I'm trying to put this down on a pen and paper and make logical sense out of it. It doesn't compute at all. I know that happens a lot, and I try to refrain from that. And Mr. Blitzkrieg, he just one-shot me. I don't know if that's just something that... I guess that can happen with the N94, but you know what I mean, guys, in terms of... you can usually tell how many bullets you get hit with. when you're shouting. Why? Look at my entire team. They put so much C4 around this area that as soon as a mortar drops, it kills all of us. And that's just... You catfish teammates. Like, this is terrible. This is so bad. Just... Okay, and I respawn, and it happens again later on. It's very, very frustrating. And yes, oh, so many of the Americans flank through that column. So many, and just... Every single time. Don't do it, young blood. Okay, so just that flank, it can be effective sometimes, but if you have anybody that's even decent at clipping off of this bridge, you're going to get eaten up every single time. Granted, I think our team was turtling so hard, they can have the ability to flank. It's not really a big deal. I'd probably say the more pressure that you have on A, or more pressure that you have on the objectives in general, the greater ability you have to flank. And look at all of this C4 around the objective. Remember that in a... Like, come on. And Wesley? Snipes. Okay. So at this point in time, I'm going to run into the other room because I know at this point, like, okay, look. This guy, this Mr. Brobox monster over here obviously has this entire hallway clear. Look at all the C4, okay? One grenade from an enemy will kill at least 4 guys in this room. Just look at... I couldn't quite get the engineer from this distance, but look. It's just... Why? Look, it detonates the C4. You can tell. The grenade doesn't kill me instantly. It's all the C4 near the back of this room. It's just... Don't put C4 in an area where your teammates are going to populate and run around and sort of lurk, because that just turns grenades into basically gigantic rockets, or like a huge... It's almost like nuking the objective, but you're the victim of everything. And... I was already at ammo for the FAMAS. I got one guy, don't quite get the second guy. Oh, didn't quite get the second guy. That's a lot of hit markers. I think I split it half and half. I think a lot of you know that happens a lot. You know, you're trying to kill 2 guys at the same time, but you give like half salt and half pepper to each guy, but you don't quite finish off either one of them. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But sometimes that's just your luck, and sometimes the team just doesn't come together. And sometimes your team just puts C4 everywhere. But I'm not really all that salty about it because I had fun anyway. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I want to thank you guys for tolerating my gun choice. I know you're like, I wish I had the old FAMAS. You guys remember, there was a game like this. I remember the first time that I played with the FAMAS. I showed you guys the game on Grand Bazaar. It was so deadly. So deadly. I just wish I could have that FAMAS back. Because I think... I still enjoy using the current FAMAS, but in terms of actually being a good gun, it is horrible. I guess you have your little close range engagements that you wreck people because you have 1,000 rounds per minute, but still, it's just like, there's no reason to use this over the AK, bottom line. But I want to thank you guys very much for watching. Es ist die da, die am Eingang steht, oder die da, die den Kopf verdreht. Es ist die da, I can't remember the name. That song just stuck in my head for so long. But I will see you guys next time. I want to thank you very much for watching. I'm probably going to have a Vietnam gameplay, Bad Company 2 Vietnam, on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. It might be a little bit late. I'm not sure because I'm busy this week. But I'll see you guys next time. Auf Wiedersehen und bis bald. Und don't do it, young blood. Later.